Hello everyone, we are going to talk about algae in today's lecture, and I will tell you from where you will get questions in your NEET exam. So be focused and watch this lecture till the end, right? So let us start our class. So we are going to discuss all about algae. Algae comes under which group? Halophyta, है ना? Halophytes, because they have thallus-like body. They have thallus-like body. The body is not differentiated into leaves, stem, and your roots. So they have a thallus-like structure. Algae, of course, they are uh, under kingdom Plantae. They are placed in kingdom Plantae. In the previous chapter, we have discussed the 5 kingdom classification given by Whitaker, isn't it? 5 kingdom classification, where we have seen in that all the organisms present on earth are classified into 5 kingdom. What are those? Number 1, Monera. Number 2, Protista. 3, what is next? Monera, Protista, fungi. Number 4, kingdom Plantae. And the 5th kingdom here is kingdom Animalia. So algae are placed in which kingdom? They are placed in the kingdom Plantae. They have chlorophyll. They are chlorophyll bearing simple, very simple type of thallus like body they have. They have chlorophyll. It means they are autotrophic in nature, right? They can prepare their own food. So they are autotrophic in nature, and largely they are aquatic. Please keep in mind, largely they are aquatic. They are found in fresh water and in marine water. Of course, algae you have seen in water itself, right? So largely they are aquatic. Of course, they are found in other habitat as well, like they are found in moist stones. They are found in soil, on wood, and even you will see that they are found in association with other organisms. You know about the association of algae and fungi, where algae and fungi are living together. We call them lichens. Okay, so in lichens, what you will see that there is a symbiotic associationship between a algae and a fungi. Both are helping each other. So such relationship is symbiotic relationship. And even you will see some of them are associated with some animals, like on sloth bear. Can you see the sloth bear? A very lazy person, right? Sloth bear. So sloth, on the body of the sloth bear, you can see some algae, green color, right? So algae is getting what? Water from the body of the sloth bear. And what sloth bear is getting the benefit here? Sloth bear is getting the benefit of hiding. Sloth bear can hide, camouflage. Right? So what you have to keep in mind from this paragraph of NCERT, that chlorophyll bearing organisms are algae. They have simple thallus-like body, autotrophic, and they are largely aquatic. Right? Lichens, what are lichens? In lichens, there are two partners, algae and the fungi. They both are living together and giving benefit to each other. Such relationship is called a symbiotic relationship. That's all. Okay, moving ahead. Now, if you talk about the form and size, right? Algae can be unicellular and it can be multicellular. And if it is multicellular, it can be filament-like, right? And it can be giant, like a kites. I'll show you the image. So the form and size of algae is highly variable, ranging from a colonial here. You can see these are what? These are algae. Which algae it is? It is volvox. So the large colony here, upper one, you can see this is a parental colony, and inside the parental colony you can see numerous small colonies, right? These are daughter colonies, and the colonies of volvox is called cenobium. Cenobium. So volvox is colonial form of algae. Remember the example, colonial form of algae is volvox, and filamentous, like filaments. You can see the filaments here. Filamentous algae is your Ulothrix and Spirogyra. So this one is Ulothrix, this is also filamentous and Spirogyra. Now few are there. They are marine forms. Remember, they are marine form. They are found in ocean, and those who are called kelps. They have massive plant-like body. Which type of body? Massive plant-like. You, when you see them, you found that like they are the plants. Plant-like structure you will see. A massive plant body you will found here, and these are called kelps. And remember, this kelp is a brown algae. It is a brown algae. Okay, so you can see they are of variable sizes, they are of variable structures, variable shapes you will see in algae. Okay, now if you talk about the reproduction, how they reproduce, this paragraph is telling you that how the algae reproduce. So they reproduce either by vegetative means or asexual or by sexual method. So all the three methods they are following. So number one, vegetative. Vegetative is by fragmentation. Fragmentation. Suppose this is a fragment of an algae, right? Now this fragment gets broken down into numerous accidentally if it is broken down. So each and every fragment is capable of forming a new individual. Every fragment is capable of forming a new individual. Okay, so the first one, fragmentation. This is a vegetative means of reproduction. A vegetative part is helping in reproduction. Next is asexual. So here some spores are formed, right? And the most common spores are called zoospores. Remember this, asexual reproduction also you will see in algae, and that is all about by zoospores. Zoospores are always and always motile. They have flagella. They have flagella. It means they are motile. So number one, vegetative by fragmentation, most common, है ना? Asexual is by zoospores. So among vegetative, asexual or sexual method, the most common method is the asexual method. Most common method is the asexual method. They reproduce by asexual means. Now, if you talk about sexual reproduction, here you can see the gametes formation is going on. They form gametes. So fusion of two gametes result in the formation of a zygote. Okay, so algae also reproduce by sexual means. Now from here the question comes fusion of two dissimilar gametes is termed what, and the example of it is what. So you have to remember the examples, right? First one, let's talk about the first one. So first reproduction is isogamous type. Number two, anisogamous. And number three, oogamous. Okay, isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. Let's talk about one by one. Isogamous. Iso. Here the two different gametes are formed and they are similar in size and structure. So these gametes can be flagellated and similar in size. Remember this? They are similar in size. Now, if they are flagellated, the question is all about flagellated and isogametes. The example is Ulothrix. What is the example? Example here is Ulothrix. Isogametes non-flagellated. The question is all about isogametes and non-flagellated, or the example here is Spirogyra. What is the example? Spirogyra is the example. Clear? Now, next is anisogamous type of reproduction, where the fusion of two gametes is going on, of course, but they are dissimilar in size. Size is variable. Of course, one is larger and one is smaller. The smaller one is male gamete. So one larger and one smaller gametes, when they fuses, they are dissimilar in size. This type of sexual reproduction is anisogamous. Anisogamous type of sexual reproduction. An example here is eudorina. What is the example here? Eudorina. Okay. So let me erase and write it again. So number one is iso. In iso, flagellated, example is Ulothrix. Non-flagellated example is Pyrogyra. Next is anisogamous. Example is Eudorina. And the third one is oogamous. In the oogamous, the female gamete is non-motile and it is larger in size. Female gamete is non-motile and larger in size, whereas the male gamete is motile. Male gamete here is motile. This is male gamete, this is the female gamete. So this is oogamous type of reproduction. Example is volvox and fucus. So remember, two O are here, two O are here, two U are here. Volvox, fucus. This way you can remember oogamous type of reproduction. Clear? So this paragraph is quite important. Many questions came from this paragraph in the previous year NEET exam. Now, next is all about the importance of algae. Algae are also useful. Variety of ways they are useful. Number one, half of the total carbon dioxide fixation, half of the total CO2 fixation is carried by algae. So the photosynthesis, because they are autotrophic organisms. So it means they are phototrophic organisms. They increase the level of oxygen in our atmosphere, isn't it? They trap the carbon dioxide and release what? Oxygen gas. Okay, so this is the very first important. Next, many species of algae are used as food. They are used as food. So here some examples are written. Porphyra, it is a red algae. Laminaria, it is a brown algae. Sargassum is also a brown algae. Porphyra, red algae. Laminaria, sargassum, brown algae. They are eaten as a food. They are eaten as a food. Now there are certain brown and red algae from which some substance is obtained that is commercially beneficial for us. For example, algin from the brown algae and carrageen from the red algae. So algin and carrageen. Carrageen from red algae, algin from brown algae. These are what? These are algae. These are the substance which have water holding capacity. So these are called hydrocolloids. They have what? Water holding capacity. Isn't it? Algin and carrageen. So remember this, algin is obtained from brown algae and carrageen is obtained from red algae. And these are used in your creams, in your jellies, jams and all. Agar. Next important is agar. Agar is used in the medium. This is used in the medium in the laboratory and which is used for the growth of the microbes. So this agar is a gel-like material which we use for the growth of the microbes. Okay, and this is obtained from the red algae, that is Gelidium and Gracilaria. Both are red algae. Both are red algae. And even this is also used in ice creams and in jellies. Agar is also used in your ice creams and in jellies. Next, algae which is chlorella. It is a unicellular algae, right? Unicellular algae which is rich in proteins and it is used as food supplement So this is used by space travelers. They used to carry chlorella with them because this contains a lot of protein. So it is like a food supplement. It provides protein. So these are the different ways you can see these algae are useful to us. Now the main three classes over here is chlorophyce, rhodophyce or phaeophyce. Chloro means green algae, chlorophyce. Pheo means brown algae and rhodo means red algae. Okay, so these are your algae: chlorophyce, phaeophyce and rhodophyce. Let's see one by one. So number one, chlorophyce, which are commonly called green algae. Okay, if you see their body can be unicellular like your chlorella, chlamydomonas. These are unicellular. Even they are colonial like your volvox, or they can be filamentous like your eulothrix, spirogyra. Okay. Now if you see the pigment here, the dominant pigment here is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Okay. So chlorophyll A and B is present here, and these pigments are present in chloroplast-like structure. It is an organelle, like in plants also. Chloroplast is there, which contains which pigment? Chlorophyll. So here chlorophyll is present. Now if you see the shapes of chloroplast, it can be of various shapes. It can be disc-like. Okay, can you see the different shapes of chloroplast in this figure? They can be disc-like chloroplast. They can be C-shaped, reticulate, network-like, spiral, stellate, star-like. So these are what? These are the chloroplast. So chloroplast are of various shapes here. Now if you talk about the storage bodies are called pyrenoids. Important. They are located in chloroplast. Remember this, storage body are called pyrenoids, and pyrenoids contain proteins besides starch. It contains protein besides starch. Remember this, contains protein as well as starch. Now there are some algae, they may store food in the form of oil droplets. Okay, clear? Now if you talk about their cell wall is made up of, suppose it is a plant-like structure. It is a plant. It comes in under kingdom plantae. So green algae usually have a rigid cell wall made up of an inner layer of cellulose and an outer layer of pectose. So of course cellulose is there and even pectose is there. And remember this, inner layer is of cellulose and outer layer is of pectose. Okay. Vegetative reproduction, we have talked about fragmentation. Asexual reproduction, we have seen flagellated zoospores. And zoospores are produced in a structure called zoosporangia. Inside a zoosporangia-like structures, numerous zoospores are produced. Now, they also reproduce by sexually. So, sexual reproduction is all type, iso, aniso, oogamous. Now let's learn about the examples. Very important to learn the examples here. The examples are, remember SUV car. S for spirogyra, eulothrix, volvox, car. So from C, remember cara, chlamydomonas and chlorella. So from C, remember three algae: cara, chlorella and chlamydomonas. Alright. So this is about your green algae. Now coming to your brown algae, which is phaeophyce. Brown algae. So members of Phaeophyceae brown algae, they are found primarily in marine habitat. Which habitat? They are found in marine habitat. So keep in mind, primarily they are found in marine habitat. Means in ocean water, in marine water. The body, of course, can be simple branch filamentous, so that is not so important. They can be, plant-like, represented by plant-like structure called calx, massive plant body. They are around, you can see the height was also mentioned, 100 meters in height. I have shown you the calx now. They are brown algae. Now, if you talk about the pigment here is chlorophyll A and C. Beside this, carotenoid and xanthophyll. So I will make you learn how to remember which pigment is present in which algae. I will tell you the trick here. So keep in mind, watch the lecture till the end. Now they vary in color from olive green to various shades of brown. Right? If you see the color can be olive green or can be darkest brown. It depends on the pigment. It depends on the amount of xanthophyll pigment called fucoxanthin. Which xanthophyll pigment? Fucoxanthin. Okay, now if you see the food here, food is stored as a complex carbohydrate. Complex carbohydrate, which complex carbohydrate here? Laminarin and mannitol. Remember, laminaria is a brown algae. Laminaria is a brown algae and laminarin is a complex carbohydrate. The food is stored in the form of complex carbohydrate called laminarin. Alright, now if you see the vegetative cells, they have a cellulosic wall usually covered by an outside by a gelatinous coating of algae. In the starting itself, we have seen algae. It is a hydrocolloid which is obtained from a brown algae. The protoplast contain, in addition to plasters, a centrally located vacuole and a nucleus. That is not so important. Of course, in the cell you will see a vacuole and a nucleus, right? Now, plant body is usually attached to the substratum by a holdfast. Holdfast. They have a stalk, the stipe, and a leaf-like photosynthetic organ, the frond. Very, very, very important. So, see the structure here. So, this is a holdfast, while which it is attached to the substratum. These all are 1, 2, 3. These all are brown algae. Stipe, a stem-like structure, and a leaf-like structure is called frond. Remember this. Frond is a leaf-like structure here. These are brown algae. Okay. The first one is laminaria. Second one is fucus. And the third one is dictyota. Laminaria, fucus, dictyota. In the fucus, you can see the air bladders are present. These are air bladders. So that it can float on the water. Air bladders. And the top, this is one is volvox, Chlamydomonas, and this one is Cara. These are green algae. These three are green algae. And below this one is your red algae. Both are P. porphyra, P. polycyphonia. Porphyra is eaten, right? We have seen some algae are eaten, porphyra is eaten as a food. Now, if you talk about the reproduction, they can reproduce by fragmentation. Vegetative reproduction is there. Asexual reproduction. Okay, asexual reproduction, most brown algae is by zoospore. Nothing to remember here because we have already talked about. Now, the important thing to note here is zoospores that are pear-shaped. You know what is pear? They are pear-shaped and they have unequal laterally attached flagella. This is important. Zoospores, how are they? They have a laterally attached flagella. They are pear-shaped. Sexual reproduction can be iso and oogamous. But union of gametes may take in water or within the oogonia in the oogamous species, where the female gamete is larger, non-motile, and male is smaller, motile. Again important, the gametes are pear shaped. Pear shape means pyriform. Gametes are also pear shaped. They also bear attached to laterally attached flagella. Now, what is so important? Examples are important, right? So, what are the examples? Remember that word flats. Flat away भाग जाओ, है ना? Flat F for fucus, laminaria, ectocarpus, dictyota, ectocarpus, dictyota, sargassum. Laminaria and sargassum, these both are brown algae which are eaten as a food. We have talked about sargassum. It is eaten as food. Even laminaria. Okay, and their stored food is laminatum and mannitol, which is a complex carbohydrate. Right? Those spores are pear-shaped. They have literally attached flagella. Very, very important. Moving ahead to your red algae. So red algae, rhodophyceae, means red algae we are talking about. Here the red pigment is very prominent. That is why they are red in color. And which red pigment we are talking about? Phycoerythrin. Our phycoerythrin is present in their body. Majority of red algae, they are marine with greater concentration found in warmer areas. Very important. Brown algae are also found in marine water, but brown algae are found in colder environments. Whereas red algae, they are also found in marine water, but in warmer areas. This is important. Okay. They occur in both well-lighted region. Of course, on the surface, you can see the red algae on the surface of water. On the surface, you will see the red algae. Even at the depth, also you will see the red algae, where little light penetrates, little light reaches. There also you will see the red algae. Right. Red thallus of the red algae are multicellular. The thallus here is multicellular, made up of many cells. The food stored here is Floridian starch. The question comes from this part, this line, very important. Floridian starch structure is very similar to myelopectin and glycogen. Floridian starch structure is very common, very similar to amylopectin and glycogen. Underline it, quite important. Now, the red algae reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation. Of course, we have seen all the three members, they can reproduce by fragmentation. They reproduce asexually by non-motile spores. This is important. They also reproduce by asexual method but by non-motile spores, and sexually by non-motile gametes. So here the gametes or the spores are non-motile. Very, very important. Sexual reproduction is of oogamous type, and which is accompanied by complex post-fertilization development. After fertilization, when both the gametes fuses, this is fertilization, and after fertilization is considered to be post-fertilization development. After fertilization, here the method, the company is very complex. Now, another important thing to note down here is examples. What are the examples? PPGG, Porphyra, Polysiphonia. Porphyra is the red algae eaten as food. Polysiphonia. For G, Gelidium and Gracilaria. From these two, agar is obtained. Okay. This is red algae. This table is very important for you all to learn. So please make a note. First of all, write down chlorophyceae, phaeophyceae, rhodophyceae. The same way as written in NCERT, you have to remember. Then only you are able to learn. Chlorophyceae, green algae, brown, red. Okay, GBR. Important pigment. See, chlorophyll is present. A is present in all. A is universal. Then B. In brown, C. And in red, D. Okay, so chlorophyll A and B is in green algae, A and C is in brown algae, A and D is in red algae. Beside this, here we have seen fucoxanthin, and in red algae we have picoerythrin. That's, I hope you are able to learn now. If we talk about the store food, in Phaeophytes I told you laminarian and mannitol. In red algae, Floridian starch, and in chlorophytes it is starch. Cell wall, of course, cellulose is present in all three. In Phaeophytes, cellulose and algin. In red algae, there is a carrageen. Beside this, pectin and polysulfate esters. Polysulfate esters. Flagella. In chlorophytes, there are 2 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Position is apical. They are present at the apical position. In Phaeophytes, it is pear-shaped and laterally attached. 2 unequal laterally attached flagella. 2 unequal. In Rhodophytes, they are absent. Non-motile spores and non-motile gametes are found here. Non-motile spores and non-motile gametes. So, pear shape, laterally attached. Here it is absent. Habitat, they are found in fresh water, brackish water and salt water. Here fresh water, brackish water, salt water. Fresh water, brackish water, salt water. Nothing is so important, but here in salt water most is written, so this is important. So this is your division of your algae: chlorophytes, Phaeophytes and your Rhodophytes. These are the 3 classes. And what are the main characteristics is all are mentioned here in the table, which you have to remember. So that's all about algae. Thank you for watching this lecture. And one more thing, Spirogyra is called water scum or pond silk. So this is not that much important. It's not given in your NCERT. This is just your extra thing. Spirogyra is called pond silk. Okay. So thank you. Have a nice day.